Item, consideration of possible action to approve legal services agreement between Tarrant County and the Public Interest Legal Foundation. There is a motion and a second from Commissioner Simmons, Commissioner Miles to reject this contract. Any further discussion?
Yes. So according to census.gov, Tarrant County has grown by 120,000. So not the 400,000 that somebody out there mentioned. Just wanted to put that out there. So again, we do not need 3 redistricting processes in 10 years. It's just a waste.
All right, any other discussion from the court members?
Judge,
Sir.
to me, this is simple. We haven't redistricted the commissioner precinct boundaries for 15 years. We may have looked at it in 21 and not wanted to take action, but this court was elected to take action. The reason why I really wanted to speak is that I've heard members of this body accused of being racist for wanting to explore population balanced precinct lines. That's shameful. Just because you disagree with somebody on policy does not make them a racist. As the first and only Hispanic county commissioner ever elected to the dais, I struggle to find out how my vote is diluted by rebalancing population precinct lines. I mean, if somebody can explain that to me, please do. I'm in favor of studying this issue and taking action where I believe it should have been taken in 2021.
Okay, but the court in 2021 didn't take action. That was the time, that was the appropriate time to take action. And so, like one of the speakers said, reapportionment is every 10 years. And I talked about and asked if there is a statute that says we are required to redistrict. If a commissioner's court said we're fine, the deviation was 1%, why would they make the decision to redistrict? And so we've grown 120,000 since then. That is not substantial. And so we will have a new census in 2030 and redistrict in 2031. Why would you do it 3 times? Can you explain that to me? Why would you do a full process in 2021, in 2025, and 2031?
I can't speak for the other court because I wasn't on it, but I can say that from 2021 to 2030, usually a redistricting process takes place, and then after that, census comes out and there's more reapportionment in 2031. Another redistricting takes place. So we're not redistricting 3 times. We'll have redistricted twice in both of those cycles. The court in 2021 decided not to do that. This court might decide to do that, and there's nothing that says you shouldn't do that. You can't do that. It's not advisable to do that. It usually takes place at the beginning of reapportionment, but nothing says it has to take place at that time.
Okay, so there would be 3 processes. There was a process that we paid for. We didn't redistrict, okay? So that's expenses, 3 expenses.
And had I been on the court at that time, I think I would have voted to say, let's go ahead and redistrict now with the growth in Tarrant County, with the reapportionment, and with the numbers. So I didn't get to make that decision for other court members, but with the information force, I think we can do that now.
There's no deviation.
So my last comment on this issue is, if it is the will of the court that redistricting takes place, my ask is that it would be transparent, that it would have community involvement, that community members would be able to participate in the map drawing process, and that there is a legitimate process that is in place, and that we understand it, and that we're given time to think through it and do it the right way, versus it being presented on a Friday and then we have to make a decision on it on a Tuesday. That doesn't really give us the opportunity to think through it and come up with the questions that need to be asked and be provided with the answers, and it doesn't give the community the opportunity to provide input and perspective. Anything that we do, we should do it with the residents in mind. It is our job to represent all of the residents of Tarrant County. Not the ones that agree with us only, but every resident, and to take their input and their voices and involve them in the process. And this process, the way it was presented, does not give them the ample time to be a participant in it. That's why I don't support it. I would support us opening it up and giving the community the opportunity to participate in the map drawing and whatever advising and consulting, and give us an opportunity to put a plan in place. And the last thing I'll say on this is this. If we will spend money for an RFP for sprinkler systems, the least we can do is put out an RFP for something that will impact everybody in this room and in the county whom we are called to represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commissioners?
I do. I just want to say thank you for to all of you who came out, especially the sister who said she took off work to come down here to speak for 1 minute. That type of leadership tells you how disrespected you are. We were elected to serve you. We get paid. We make a nice salary. And we can't be inconvenienced to let you have your whopping 3 minutes? Give me a break. Thank each and every one of you for taking your time to drive down here, park, walk, wait to speak for 1 damn minute.
The rules of decorum were passed 4-0, which put that provision in there. You weren't present for that vote.
I was here.
Ultimately, that's in the rules. I'm enforcing the rules, and I intend to enforce the rules. Some of you don't think decorum matters. I happen to think it does and think that's the way we should run things. You don't? Fine, you can disagree with it. Ultimately, you have a motion on the floor with seconded. If this does not pass and another motion is made and it passes, what would then happen is this legal firm would go in, evaluate Tarrant County, evaluate our precincts, look at populations, and eventually come report to the court what they have found. They may or may not bring potential maps. And at that point, there would be a period, if there was a map or a series of maps or whatever it ends up being, there will be an opportunity for the public to weigh in before a vote is taken. The way I would do it, and I guess if I'm putting it on the agenda, this is how I would do it. I would do it where they come give a presentation to the court. Every court member has the opportunity to speak to this group, talk to them, share their concerns, share their issues. Every member of the court is free to have any public input that they want to have. You can have a town hall every night between now and the next time you see anybody come talk about this item. And we will obviously, before we could ever pass a map of any kind, people would have the opportunity to see the map. My way of doing it would be to have maps out there, or a map, whatever it is, that is presented, open, and then another 2 weeks or whatever it is goes by, 2.5, I guess, if you did it in May, where people have the opportunity to look at it, weigh in. There are many ways to reach elected officials other than sitting up here. There are emails. We read them all. There are a ton of ways to go make your voices heard. So I don't think, at this point, if we pass this, we're hiring a firm, and then a process will come out and things will come open. I get some of you don't want it to happen, fine, then you can vote that way. Any other comments or questions before we take a vote? Okay. We have a motion and a second to reject the legal services agreement. Please cast your votes. All right, so that motion fails 2-3.
So I would make a motion to approve the legal services agreement.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the legal services agreement between Tarrant County and the Public Interest Legal Foundation. Any further discussion?
Yes. So how did you choose? So were you the one that chose the firm, or was it purchasing? Was it staff? Who chose the firm?
Staff did not choose the firm. These are people that I researched and found.
Okay. And so you didn't think it important to maybe ask all 5 of us if we had firms in mind that could competitively participate in a competitive process?
I probably handled it the exact same way you handle every single item you put on an agenda. You don't ever discuss with us if something should be on the agenda, and
You don't know that.
well, I know you don't discuss it with me.
I discuss
so,
it with staff.
Yeah, so no, I did not discuss it. Obviously, with the 4 of you, you know I didn't.
I mean, I get the advice of staff. So also, so that contract said the 30,000 for the initial phase. How many phases do you anticipate?
I don't know, but I don't answer to you. So,
Well,
I don't know.
you put something on the agenda.
Vote the way you want.
I will, but you put something on the damn agenda, so you ought to be able to speak to it. If you didn't have staff research it for you, you ought to be able to speak to it. Almighty.
How many times have you put things on the agenda without running it through the staff? I mean,
I don't do that.
you've done it so many times.
Okay.
Goodness gracious.
So what
I'm
is
not gonna
happening?
answer any
What's
of
happening
your
after
questions.
the initial? What's happening after the initial phase?
What is the initial phase?
It's in your contract.
I just told you. Well, if you've read the
I
contract, you know
have.
what happens. Why are you asking me?
What happens after the initial phase? This contract says it's for the initial phase.
I think I just went through that whole thing sitting here.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
Nobody got it.
But I'm
And then how much?
respectfully, I'm not going to
How
answer
much
your
is the
questions.
second
and
phase?
Judge O'Hare.
Respectfully, I'm not going to answer your questions or be cross-examined by you.
Judge O'Hare.
You're
may
the
I be
only one
recognized?
that's not.
May I be recognized?
People in this room.
Judge O'Hare, may I be
You will
recognized?
be removed if you speak out again.
May I be recognized?
Certainly.
I call the question.
Okay. Call the question. According to Robert's Rules of Order, it's a vote. Is it a vote on the question, or is it a vote on calling the question? I don't know the answer. I think it's a vote on the issue before us, I
I believe
believe.
that's correct. It's essentially a motion to, or a request to end debate on the topic.
But it doesn't require a second.
I can check real quickly here.
No, you just vote. Why is he here? You just vote once the question has been called.
Out of an abundance of caution, Judge, what you may do is just go ahead and take a second on that if possible, and vote on to call the question, and then vote on the question that has received a motion in a second. But I will confirm that. I don't want the court to wait, or alternatively, if you'd like to take a brief recess. So,
I mean, I want to follow the proper procedure, so we can take a 5-minute recess while you try to figure it out. Okay.
can you, Judge?
All right, we're now in recess until 12:54.